This is the fundamental planning step, since the purpose drives all the other elements, including planning the agenda, the invitation list, and the timing and venue. Be as specific as possible as you think through what the gathering needs to accomplish. Is it to brainstorm? Brainstorm what? To inform your team. About what exactly and why? To fix a problem? If so, are you meeting with the expectation that you'll solve it, or that you'll come up with a plan to determine a solution at a later date? Are you meeting to clarify roles and responsibilities? Rally the troops. Make a decision. For example, if you invite everyone involved to discuss the special revenue-generating project, but don't really consider whether your goal is to get a status update, which you know you need to do, to brainstorm ways to speed up the timetable, which needs to happen at some point, or to reprioritize workload, which one of the team members really wants. You and your attendees will all come into the room with totally different ideas of what you will get out of the meeting. The attendees may all have put thought into different aspects of the issue, and when you don't focus on all of those aspects, you'll only frustrate them. If instead you let people know that the purpose of the gathering is to make a decision about reprioritizing the workload in your department, you are far more likely to include just the individuals who specifically need to be there, and in turn, they will be on hand to give their feedback about options and to endorse the decision as it is made. Knowing the purpose of your meeting is thus critical to the rest of the planning process. As you're preparing for the specific type of gathering you need, you may also want to refer to running specific types of meetings later in this book, which focuses on how to lead several of the most common meeting types. Setting an agenda. Once you've defined the purpose of your meeting, you need to create an agenda based on it. Agenda items. List the items that you need to achieve your purpose, whether these are time for brainstorming, a discussion about a certain issue, or a presentation of new information. In addition to these items, it's a good idea to plan a bit of time for an introduction, since you'll want to provide some recap and context setting at the beginning of your session. Last time we met, we needed to find out what the budget would be for this project. We have that number now. A good agenda takes into account these kinds of routine items so that you won't spend unexpected time on them, forcing you to rush through the heart of your program. Once you know what your agenda items are, decide roughly how much time you will grant to each one. Your attendees' schedules may limit the length of the full meeting, but even if they don't, think short. See more on timing your meeting in the section Finding a Time later in this chapter. Although most meetings are between 30 minutes and 2 hours long, few people can really focus their attention for a full 2 hours while sitting still in a chair. 1 hour is better, and 55 minutes is great. It allows your participants 5 minutes to get to the next meeting. Half or full day gatherings should be reserved for infrequent special events, such as a semi-annual training session or a yearly strategy off-site. Always underestimate, rather than overestimate, how many issues a group can handle in a given time, and allow extra time to deal with your most critical items. Sequencing agenda items. Once you have your agenda items listed and a time assigned to each, think about the logical flow from one item to the other. You don't want to discuss the budget for a project, for example, before you've identified its deadline and its scope. As you go, keep in mind that you may know more about the project than the other participants. So sequence items so that they make sense to the attendees rather than just to you. Here's how to plan the sequence of the agenda for optimal flow and energy. If your agenda is likely to be complicated or challenging, consider starting with a few easy items, then work up to the most complex or controversial ones. Separate information sharing issues from problem solving, decision making, or brainstorming.